Also coming up, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia pledges government support to victims of the fire that gutted the new Kejetia market in Kumasi. Still ahead, Ghana Cocoa Board reveals the involvement of foreigners in the smuggling of cocoa beans in the country.
The challenge now is that you have certain foreigners who are now involved in this business. So they come, they get the cocoa.
And later, new Yagbonra of the Gonja traditional area in Damongo to be outdoored tomorrow.
Traditional ancient site of Yanga where the actual rituals for the enskinment take place. And then the modern capital of Damongo where the new king, New Yagbonra, is outdoored.
Stay tuned as we bring you details of all that and more on the Citi Prime News, which is live on all our affiliates across the country. In the Western region, we're on Adjumpa 100.7 FM in Takwa and Beach 105.5 FM in Takrade. In the Bono region, we're on Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, you're listening to us on Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're on Revival 99.3 FM in Tajewu and VOV Radio 95.7 in Hohoe. In the northern region, we're on Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM. In the upper east, you're listening to us on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. And in the upper west, we're on Tungsong 97.3 FM in Wa.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for staying with us. We'll settle for the details of our stories now. The Ghana Football Association has officially introduced Chris Hughton as head coach for the Black Stars following the departure of Otuado. The 64-year-old England-born Ghanaian coach was named on February 12, 2023 and was presented to the public during an unveiling ceremony in Kumasi on Monday. We'll go live to Kumasi for reaction shortly, but first let's hear from the head of the communications director for the GFA, Henry Asantichum.
Through the Ghana Football Association or in conjunction with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Mr. Chris Hughton will be the next coach of the Black Stars from now until December 31, 2024. Mr. Chris Hughton will be the next coach of the Black Stars from now until December 2024. He will work with two assistants already. We know Masudi Dramani and George Boateng were with him during the World Cup in Qatar. They were assisting Otuado, and Chris was also in the role as the technical advisor, but today he takes over as the head coach of the team. Now, for the first time, the head coach and his two assistants will have their contracts running concurrently. What it means is that the contract that Mr. Chris Hughton has signed, his two assistants have both signed the same contract, which will run until December 31, 2024. The two parties have agreed that the terms of this contract shall be subject to a performance review. Obviously, we know we are on a good course, so once we come to the end of the contract in December 2024, if he intends traveling to monitor players, the Football Association will make the condition prevalent enough for him to do so.
That was the communications director for the Ghana Football Association, Henry Asantichum. Now we'll listen to the new Black Stars head coach, Chris Hughton.
Regarding my emotions, of course, I've been involved with the association and involved with the team for almost a year now. Although that is in a different capacity as technical advisor, what that has allowed me to do is to get a good feel for the squad. But as regards my emotions, as most of you know, the large majority of my managerial career has been at club level. And also as a player, for those that know me would know that I represented the Republic of Ireland as a player. So to represent Ghana and the Black Stars as the head coach is something that I'm incredibly proud of. Yeah, sorry about the noise. It's something that I'm incredibly proud of. It's something that I will give everything to make the team as successful as possible. It's something that I will do to make sure that the communication and the relationship that I have with this association, for those around the association, and of course the supporters, to give all of my best. So it's something that I'm hugely looking forward to, but very much our game is about support. And as I said, support from the association, but mostly support from the huge array of fans that we have. And that starts with, obviously, a very difficult game at Kumasi on Thursday.
That was the new Black Stars head coach, Chris Hughton. Now, City Sports correspondent Evans Ofochumanso was present at the event and joins us over the phone lines. Good afternoon, Evans. Now, run us through the details of Chris Hughton's contract.
So Wilma, welcome to the SG Mall at Ija in Kumasi, where Chris Hughton got to face the media for the first time since he was appointed as the Black Stars head coach. And speaking about his contract, the communication director of the Ghana Football Association, Henry Asante-Chum, gave out the information that his contract runs until the 31st of December 2024. So he's been given that mandate to be the head coach of the team till now, till that date. And as such, his objective will be to try and do well for the Black Stars, create a very formidable national team. He's having the same backroom staff as Otuado, so he'll be assisted by Masoud Udamani and George Watson as assistant coach, with Olele Kingston as the goalkeepers trainer. So that's the details of the contract there. We're not given a clear objective as to whether he has to go and win the AFCON next year in Ivory Coast, and also the details about the possible termination of the contract if he fails to win the AFCON. Also, we're not told whether how much is being paid at the end of every month, but we understand that the government will be in charge of doing that. But as to the amount that the student will be receiving as the Black Stars head coach, that was also not unveiled here at his official press conference. But clearly, you can see that it was a target that many out here were not impressed with, because they thought that the GFA needed to be clear in terms of the objectives and the sort of vision that they have for the coach.
Right. Now, we know the media was given, the opportunity to ask questions. Now, how do you describe the demeanor and the responses of the coach?
Well, he had quite a very cool demeanor. I can say he was very confident in his submissions. You could clearly see a coach whose public relations was very top-notch. No wonder he's coached in the English Premier League and the Championship in England. So he knows how to face the media. And after 36 years of being in this coaching business, he answered the questions to the best of his ability. He was asked questions varying from political interference from the top hierarchy of the GFA, which is about the fact that he is hoping to build a solid communication with the GFA. He was also asked questions relating to whether he can promise the population of Ghana that he's going to win a trophy. He evaded that question, so he couldn't really promise that he will win the nation a trophy. All he indicated was he was going to build a winning Black Stars team. There was also the question of his transitional plans for players in the junior national teams and how he hopes to roll them into the main Black Stars. And also there was a question related to the World Cup performance, the likes of Thomas Partey, Mohamed Kudus, how he hopes to get the best from all these players. He lauded the abilities of all these players and promised to try and do his possible best to get the utmost from these superstars in the national team. So it was quite cool and calm as he responded to a lot of questions from various areas there. And he was also asked his thoughts about the Ghana League. In his latest 25-man squad, there is no single local player in that list that will be facing Angola on Thursday. So they tried to ask him why and his plans for the local footballers. He gave the answer that, he will try to get into the local league, and then if the talent is good enough to face his team, obviously, his doors are open for the local talent as well. So it was quite a very interesting responses from Coach Chris Hutton. Although the media here I spoke to after showed that it was not really hitting the nail right on the head as to some of the responses that he gave them, because they thought that on the GFA hierarchy issue, we expected him to be bold to tell us whether he was really influenced by the GFA or not. But that's the response he gave us, the fact that he wanted to build a better communication. He's the new coach in charge, and whatever has happened. He's here to also build upon his own Black Stars team. He was also asked about the sort of legacy he hopes to leave when his tenure ends as a Black Stars head coach. He spoke to that effect as well, that hoping to build a very formidable Black Stars squad that many Ghanaians will be proud of. And as such, at the end, he had to take some sort of photographs with the media here. There was also the supporters union who were singing and drumming. And I can say that from the time he arrived in Kumasi on Sunday morning, where he attended the Akwesidai Festival, it's been massive support for Chris Hutton, and everyone shows that until he gets to start his first game, they are giving him the benefit of doubt. So let's see how he starts that game against Angola on Thursday, and then the media will carry on as to their analysis of his tenure.
Right, Pichi, before we let you go, which key personalities were present to grace the occasion?
He was here with the communication director of the Ghana Football Association, Henry Asantichum. He was the one trying to speak to the media about the terms of the contract of Chris Hutton. There was also support from members of the Black Stars Management Committee. Alhaji Karim Musa, who is part of that committee, was here. Vice chair of that committee, that's Akwesi Ajiman, was also here to offer his support. So 2 out of the management members were here to offer their support to the coach. Interestingly, the GFA president, Keto Kraku, was not present at the SG Mall, and also the vice president of the GFA, Macado, was also not present. But we know Macado is in Kumasi because he arrived with the coach on Sunday morning. But he was not here to grace the occasion as well. But nonetheless, Coach Hutton spoke to the media for the first time, and there's another press conference for him on Wednesday. That's a pre-match press conference for that AFCON qualifier against Angola. At the moment, he's left the premise. The media have also left the premise to their various media houses, and we see how he starts his tenure. That's the objective of qualifying the team to the next AFCON, doing well, and hopefully winning a laurel for the Black Stars. That's the ultimate goal. It's been 41 years since Ghana got close to the title. In 1992, in 2010, 2015, we missed out on the trophy narrowly, and we are hoping that Chris Hutton will be the man to bring that joy and ecstasy back into the hearts of Ghanaian football fans by lifting the AFCON trophy in Ivory Coast.
Now, Evans, finally, before you go, what are the preparations of the Black Stars ahead of the match on Thursday?
Well, so from the team's itinerary that we picked up here, the team is set to arrive in Kumasi tomorrow. So we are set to be here from Tuesday, Wednesday. They should hold training sessions. The game on Thursday, and so they have just 2 days to get ready in Kumasi and then face the Palancras Negras of Angola. Looking at the Valaya Sports Stadium, it has been closed for local football activities, meaning that Kumasi and Kotoko in Faisal have not been able to play their league games here because the NSA here in Kumasi so that it's important to make sure the pitch is in a very good condition. So it's been closed to local football as they get the pitch ready for that football action. So the media here are also doing their best to promote the game and make sure that attendance is quite encouraging on that day. We know on the local attendance has been poor, but GFA and the local media are trying hard to convince fans to patronize this game on Thursday. Preparations are going smoothly. The GFA have been on some media stations here trying to create awareness to tell people about the game and try to cut the support from the Marseille populace as well. And so all is set. We are expecting the team to be here. The Angolan team also should be here in Kumasi. They are expected to have their mandatory pre-match training session on Wednesday because it's part of the CAF rules that as an away team, you must train on the game a day before the game. So the Angolans are set to hold that training session on Wednesday. The Black Stars should be doing that on Tuesday, Wednesday as well. And then Thursday, there's kickoff 4 p.m. at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. It's an AFCON qualifier. Ghana and Angola both having started the group on a very good note, and we get to see how things will go on Thursday when Prisutin plays his first official game. Well, he's been around the Black Stars for 1 year now. You know, he joined as the technical advisor in March 2022 before he was reaffirmed again in May. So he's been around the team when Otuado was there. They went to the World Cup. So he has a fair idea of the sort of Black Stars team that he's in charge of. He's brought 25 players for that assignment. And it's the hope of all Ghanaians here that he gets to win that game, not just for the 3 points, but also to dedicate that win for the late Pisanachu, who was part of the Black Stars, a pivotal player who passed away in Turkey in February. So many we are hoping that the Black Stars will win that game for Pisanachu and also take the 3 points and at least move further in their group and qualify hopefully for the AFCON.
Well, thank you very much for that detailed reportage. That was City Sports' Evans Ofochuman's reporting from Kumasi from the unveiling of Chris Hughton. Charles will bring us more stories.
Well, away from football, smuggling of cocoa beans to neighboring countries has evolved from an activity dominant among border towns to the national capital, Accra. The illegal activity has become widespread. Even foreigners are engaged in it. This is according to the head of public affairs with Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo. The revelation comes on the back of reports of the retrieval of 1,500 bags of cocoa by the Anti-Smuggling Task Force. Ghana's exports of cocoa dropped from 1 million bags in 2020-2021 to some 600,000 bags last year. Fifi Boafo says the strength of the CFA is influencing the illegal activity.
Realize that it has gone beyond the border towns, where now you have people even in Accra, they package it together and try to smuggle it out. But the challenge now is that you have certain foreigners who are now involved in this business. So they come, they get the cocoa, and then they package it into different sacks, which ordinarily you would not assume that the content of it is cocoa, and then they get it out of town to our neighboring countries. So that's the challenge we are facing now. Of course, just like the story that has been reported by the finder says, we've been able to make arrests just in March about 1,500 bags, which is about 94 metric tons. And that's about over $200,000 worth of cocoa. So it's a thing. And
we understand that the level of smuggling is so serious that some districts, particularly in the Western North region, are not reporting any proper returns, purchases, so that people are paying the farmers, but they are not sending the cocoa to the right place. They will give the farmer the 800 cedis per bag, and then they'll go and sell it in Cote d'Ivoire because of the exchange rate. We are told that one of the reasons why this is thriving is the relative strength of the CFA. Is this something you are aware of?
Yes, we are very much aware of it, because the past 5-6 years, Ghana has had way better price than these neighboring countries. But the CFA strength this year has given these smugglers a window which they are cashing in. Because, yes, they will buy it 800 cedis from the farmer. So the farmer is not getting anything extra. And then they take it across the borders.
Fifi Boafo also indicated that Ghana is collaborating with her neighboring countries to fight the smuggling menace.
Indeed, the Ivorians, when it started, drew our attention to it, that they've realized that there are some people who are taking this cocoa from Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire. So, yes, we are collaborating with them. Apart from that, we do not have that strong relationship with Togo. So that relationship doesn't help much. But then because of the relationship we have with Cote d'Ivoire, we are counting on it, even though it does not yield the result we are looking for. One of the things we are also doing now, at least to ensure that the people who, when they see these things, will report to us, is that, so for example, if you see someone who has loaded a truckload or has cocoa moving from Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire, the value of that cocoa to test is given to the person who reports and the security agencies who arrest them. So it has incentivized people, and now they are willing and ready immediately to come out and give us information that we've seen this person who is involved in this business, and then the security agencies will quickly move in to arrest them.
Fifi Boafo is Head of Public Affairs at Cocoa Board.
You're still listening to the Citi Prime News live from our studios at Adabaka in Accra. Still ahead in the bulletin, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia pledges government support to victims of the fire that gutters the new Kejetia market in Kumasi. Do stay with us. We have details coming shortly.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant, and she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Keys. What could be simpler than a key? Who doesn't have a key? A car key, an office key, a drawer key. But there's one key that rules them all. The house key. The key to a place we call home. The key to the home where everything comes together. The key to a home that is our own. A home where we make life happen with our families and loved ones. Adoha has been working hard for over 30 years to make home ownership within reach for many. Say yes to property with Adoha. Your dream home is one call away. Your dream home is a few clicks away. Visit our Accra project, The Place, by calling 030-2789-757.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, the National Health Students Association of Ghana, NASAG, is pressing on the Ministry of Finance to issue clearance for the payment of the allowances, which has been in arrears. According to the association, hygiene students are owed 10 months of unpaid allowances, while trainee nurses and midwives are owed 14 months. Also, allied health interns are owed 11 months of unpaid allowances. The association notes that the government's silence on starving health interns is very unfortunate and disheartening. Speaking to Citi News, the president of NASAG, Daniel Onoma Asamoah, says they are calling on government and the finance ministry to release the monies due them.
Currently, the Ministry of Finance too has to be involved because if the Ministry of Finance has not issued out financial clearance, the Ministry of Health has little to do or has not much to do. In that, when you go, it will be the same old story. We are waiting for the Ministry of Finance to issue out financial clearance before we will proceed. So that has been an issue at stake now. We've engaged the Ministry of Health. We sent a petition somewhere last October. And yes, we had several meetings with them, and they are still waiting on the finance to issue out clearance. So for right now, we don't want to come out to the next day. You see, we are following a roadmap. We are still trying to give the government the benefits of the doubt. That's why we are still on a social media campaign for now. And we're not even involved the press here because there's an assurance that we are working on it. We sent a letter and was waiting for them to respond to us. So we are waiting that they respond to us within that time frame. If not, then we'll take our next action.
That was the president of the National Health Students Association of Ghana, Daniel Onoma Asamoah.
Now, the Sisala East Municipal Health Directorate in the Upper West region wants urgent intervention to address the deplorable nature of health facilities in the area. The District Director of Health Services, addressing various stakeholders in Tumut, decried that over 60% of health facilities in the area are in such a deplorable state and are thus unable to store essential drugs and childhood vaccines for efficient healthcare delivery. Citi News' Latif Mahama has more in the following report.
The Sosala East Municipal Health Service has over the years been adjudged as the overall best performing district among the 11 districts in the Upper West region. According to the 2022 Holistic Health Review, the district is considered as a high-performing zone, scoring more than 80% in the 92 health sector indicators. With 100% CHIPS functionality, the Sosala East municipality has 52 CHIPS zones, thus ensuring that patients do not travel far distances to access healthcare services. Health officials in the district, however, say the deplorable nature of some health facilities in the district, coupled with inadequate doctors and other critical health staff, is derailing the gains as most of them do not have storage facilities to preserve their medicines. The Sosala East District Director of Health Services, addressing various stakeholders at their annual Holistic Health Review meeting, says there is an urgent need to address the infrastructural gap to sustain the gains made in the district.
Over 60% of facilities are in very deplorable states, require rehabilitation works. A lot of our facilities have depreciated in their loops, need to be facelifted. Over 50% of CHIPS compounds operate without potable water. 6 CHIPS compounds are not connected to national grids affecting service delivery. The areas of vaccine schools and 9 calls, a call to the municipal assembly. Close to 50%, specifically 23 out of 52 CHIPS zones, have no toilet facilities for both staff and then clients. Protracted shortage of ready-to-use therapeutic foods for the management of SEMA cases. Shortage of some vaccines for the period under review. No network connectivity in about 20 health facilities affecting service delivery, particularly in the area of generation of National Health Insurance Scheme, CCC, monthly report entries, and then referrals.
Citi News checks at some health facilities, including the district hospital, confirmed the situation. This is the children's ward at the district hospital. The facility has been abandoned due to life-threatening structural defects with leaking roofings. A nurse in charge of the pediatric unit complained that the situation is having a toll on healthcare delivery, as children are now compelled to receive treatment in a crowded ward where the unit is now relocated to.
Sometimes you'll be sitting down before you realize the bulbs start blasting themselves. Then one day we were sitting here, we could see water dripping down to the floor. As if that was not enough, we saw that the whole building was caving in, as you can see. During the period of, let me say, September, which is one of our peak season, we don't do cleaning in the water. They don't mop because the whole place is congested. You can't even walk. Sometimes when you're even talking to patients, you can't hear them. The whole place is very noisy. So, and I think one of it to our profession is that it contributes to medical negligence, because once you put patients together, they can have that kind of maybe exchange of drugs and what have you, and even cross infections. Because if I come here with malaria, but before I go home, I'll get skin infection, because we are all pairing the same. And even as it is now, the world is supposed to put all patients together, because we have certain conditions that we use to sectionalize them. Like this room, if a child happens to have something, an infectious disease like TB and what have you, that doesn't need to be combined with other patients. If you have chicken pox and what have you. But here's the case, you have not even gotten the space, you have to just put them together.
The Member of Parliament for Sosala East, Amidu Chinya Isagu, presented an ambulance to the Wilma Polyclinic as part of his efforts to improve healthcare delivery in the district.
Care will be one of the priority areas I'll be working around to see how I can make sure that the healthcare of my people is taken care of. And as you know, the Wellambele Polyclinic is the second biggest health facility in the constituency. And also because the Sisala East is a vast area, I mean, from here to Tumu is a long distance. And from here, even towards Nabulobo, Wesubele, it's quite distant. And so for somebody to move from Nabulo or Gosi to Tumu, it's quite a distance. So this catchment area, the Wellambele catchment area, certainly deserves a facility that can take care of the people within this catchment area. The Wellambele Health Center has been upgraded to a polyclinic, and with the upgrading, it must come with certain facilities. An ambulance is one of them, so that anybody with healthcare issues around the Wellambele catchment area, the ambulance can quickly go and pick the person and bring the person to the Wellambele Polyclinic.
The annual Holistic Health Review meeting, which was under the theme Improving Health System Financing and Support, Critical to Effective Health Service Delivery, was a platform to review the performance of the past year and to plan for the ensuing year.
In spite of the successes chalked by the Sisala East Municipal Health Directorate, the district hospital here in Tumu is being confronted with a myriad of challenges. Authorities here are thus appealing to the government to come to their aid. Reporting for City News, my name is Latif Mahama, Tumu.
Here in Accra and in the studios of Adaraka, my name is Wilma Obuobisa Coleman here with Charles Owusu. Kumi will bring you some other stories. And the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has assured victims of the New KJTR market fire incident of government support. Speaking to the traders after inspecting the scene of the fire, the Vice President announced that the part of the facility that was not affected by the fire will be reopened for business on Tuesday, despite the earlier directive by the board for an extra week of closure.
Medium say, fire service, any nadmo, we are dear pa. Because Omutimi stopping a jano, now 33 shops out of 8,000.
I know you agree with me that the fire service and NADMO did well in making sure that only 33 out of the over 8,000 shops were affected. I want to commend the two entities for their efforts during the incident. I know you are not working now, because your shops have been closed down. I've spoken to the fire service and have disclosed that the incident wasn't as a result of an electric fault. Let me assure you that you'll be allowed to reopen your shops from tomorrow.
Because you're too many fire service for Yakasa, almost say, Omuni Madekra Ebai. So, and yet electrical fault. So, Omora Shemina. So Nyameadum and China Obuobisa Lamwa starting.
That was the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. We'll go over the phone lines to speak to Ashanti Regional Correspondent Fati Aminu Ibrahim. Now, Fati, good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us. This must be good news for the traders on hearing that they can reopen for business tomorrow.
Yes, this is very true. The traders, upon hearing the government, the vice president announce that starting tomorrow, they can come back to work, they can come back to open their shops, they can come back to continue with their trading activities. They were excited, and there was this round of applause for the vice president. So here at the New KJTR market today, even though I can say that almost half of the shops are so close. A number of them are here and they've opened their shop, but the trading activities here today is not as the usual one as we've been seeing, because most of them didn't know that today will be the market will be open for trading activities today because of the earlier announcement by the board of the market and the management of the market, indicating that from today to Sunday they'll continue to close the market for security reasons. And so most of them did not come around, even though some of them actually came and they've been allowed access into the place. The announcement by the vice president came in at the right time for most of the traders. So here even though for the past 5 days it's been very gloomy here. Today, the mood has changed a little bit because of the announcement of the vice president.
Now, what more has the vice president been saying?
Yes, according to him, government is actually willing and will be ready to support the affected traders to rebuild and also stock up their market. He says that he understands most of them have lost their capital, most of them have lost their wares, but then he's giving them the assurance that government will support them to stock up their stuff and then come back to continue with their trading activity.
Now, we know the vice president also assured that they'll strictly implement the recommendations of the committee.
Yes, according to him, once they set up the committee, whatever investigations that will be done, the recommendations that will be given, they will strictly go by it to ensure that everything go back to normalcy.
Thank you very much for that report. That was Ashanti Regional Correspondent Fatih Aminu Ibrahim.
Now, with just 11 days to the end of the month, the government is racing against time to secure an International Monetary Fund bailout. The President, Nana Akufo-Addo, has consistently reiterated his government's commitment towards securing a deal by close of March this year. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is reported to be leading a government delegation to China to secure some debt forgiveness as part of the requirements to securing the IMF deal. Economist Courage Boti believes if some finality is brought to the China conversation, Ghana might be able to meet its set timelines for the IMF bailout.
I think China is at this moment, the big elephant in the room. From the look of things, the process leading up to getting board-level approval will mean that we have to engage the bilateral creditor committee, or call it the official creditor committee for the bilateral creditors. So far, China hasn't played ball. Maybe these rounds of engagement might yield to them agreeing to something and then constituting that creditor committee. I don't know what length of time it will take and what the negotiations will center around, even with the creditor committee that will culminate into that letter stating that we're giving you financing assurances. And again, I don't know what the president's briefing is. The reason he keeps saying that by end of March, we should be able to get that. So I wouldn't say it's impossible because everything is possible. Assuming the engagement with China goes through successfully, they get a creditor committee set up this week, and we do over time with engagement and all of that, both in person and virtual, yes. By within 10 days, if all parties are willing and are cooperating, we should be able to get that much needed creditor, if you like, assurances from these creditors to get the program going.
That was economist Courage Boti. Meanwhile, Professor Lord Mensah of the University of Ghana Business School is of the view that Ghana is unlikely to secure an IMF program this month due to the present dynamics of the process. He has been explaining why.
What we're supposed to do are not something that we can give ourselves timelines. If you look at the happenings, we're going to negotiate on our debt. We're going to make sure that we restructure our debt as far as the international, debts are concerned. And if you look at our components, the diversification of the international debt that we owe, the diversity of the international debt that we owe, I don't think we can achieve that within 1 week. So there's nothing crucial within this week. We just have to give ourselves time. And all that we can do is that we need to start having some, self-corrections or in-country corrections to ensure that at least we position ourselves for the creditor to know that we are ready to renegotiate on our debt and pay for it, in the long run. As we speak now, our position is still an aggressive posture where, a country that wants to spend but does not have the money. That means that if you come for debt renegotiation and it turns up that you have the opportunity to restructure your debt, you may go ahead and spend again and then we'll take you back.
That was economist Professor Lord Mensah.
You're listening to the Citi Prime News live from our studios at Adaraka in Accra. Still ahead in the bulletin, Parliament settles about 8 million Ghana cedis out of 30 million cedis owed the Electricity Company of Ghana to avoid disconnection. We'll bring you details of that and others shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Your favorite jewelry show.
At the British Council, we know that our experiences in life are what shape us. The things we see, the places we go, the people we meet all make an impact on the future we create. Change is driven by people with dreams bigger than themselves. The chance to study abroad is the chance to make an impact, not just on your own life, but on the lives of the people you left back home. When you experience the world beyond borders, you can discover what's possible for the future you envision. When you set off to further your education abroad, you can return empowered and ready to put your plan for change in motion. Great experiences await when you study in diverse countries like the UK. You could make an impact on your entire community because you took the chance to own your future. It starts with an IELTS test from the British Council. Visit our website today and discover a world of opportunity.
Come on, everybody, let's fight Corona.
Hello, good people of Ghana. Have you been vaccinated against COVID-19 yet? If not, then hurry and go for any of these vaccines. Moderna, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson, given to 18-year-olds and above, while Pfizer is given to 15-year-olds and above. If you're pregnant, go for Moderna or Pfizer vaccines. Vaccination is taking place in health centers, schools, markets, churches, bus stations, and your neighborhood. The vaccines are safe, effective, and free. They reduce COVID-19 disease, its severity, and prevent hospitalization and death. Take along any ID card and your COVID-19 vaccination card. Wait patiently for 10 to 15 minutes after vaccination before leaving the site. If you feel anything unusual after the vaccination, report to the nearest health facility. Continue to wear your face mask. Frequently wash your hands with soap and running water. Use alcohol-based hand sanitizer and keep physical distancing. Protect yourself. Protect your family. Get vaccinated against COVID-19 now. This message is from Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, and partners.
Charlie, so the first thing they do when you wake up is check out highlights. And then all you go remember, I for take the kids to school. He left small, you drop the ball, boss. You go fit meet your deadlines without ever missing the game. Now you be true, boss. You then make it to date night on game night, but still they catch the game, right? Hey, Charlie, boss. You then bring you the best leagues for any screen top, wherever you did. From only 59.99 Ghana cedis per month, live from Super Sport on Showmax Pro. Sign up on showmax.com.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for staying with us. We'll continue with the bulletin. And the Parliament has settled about 80 million cedis out of 13 million cedis owed the Electricity Company of Ghana to avoid disconnection. The partial payment was made when the Revenue Mobilization Task Force from ECG visited the Legislative House of Ghana with the intent to disconnect power to it. The exercise is part of the power distributors' effort to recover over 5 billion Ghana cedis of debt accrued by private and state institutions for non-payment since August last year. The exercise began today after ECG announced the closure of its main offices except Customer Support Department in order to embark on a 1-month-long exercise. The task force is currently heading to another institution. We'll go over the phone lines to speak to Citi News' Fred Duho, who is with the team for more. Good afternoon, Fred.
Good afternoon, Wilma.
Now, from the Parliament House, tell us a bit about what happened there.
Well, there was some engagement with leadership of Parliament, and by leadership, I mean the administrative leadership, not as the MPs and the House leadership know, but they have clerks and other workers, staff of Parliament, who normally handle affairs of the Legislative House. So a brief meeting was held with them where they ended up paying 8 million Ghana cedis out of 13 million Ghana cedis they owe the power distributor, for that matter, ECG. So as we speak, they've been spared for the day, and the team will return probably in the next 2 weeks to see if they've managed to clear the arrears owed to the power distributor. And if they are unable to do so, it will mean that they will proceed to disconnect Parliament House. And Parliament House actually has two separate meters as far as ECG's metering system is concerned. The Job 600, which houses the offices of MPs, has its separate meter, while the chamber itself also has its own meter. So these two put together, they've been spread for today, like I mentioned, and the team of the task force will return should Parliament fail to settle the amount owed. So taking 8 million out of the 13, it should be left with about. It's left with the rest they would have to settle in due time. As we speak, we've moved to the airport, which is the Ghana Airport Company Limited. And for them we understand they owe about 26 million Ghana cedis. 28 million Ghana cedis. And it seems all these companies or institutions never seem to get rid of the debt on their books. If you recollect, last year a similar exercise was conducted, and these same companies or institutions were the same victims to this whole exercise, where they were some of them were disconnected, and it took them about 24 hours for them to find some money and make some partial payments, and they were reconnected. Airport was part of that particular exercise last year. Parliament was part of that exercise. A number of ministries were part of that exercise. So this exercise beginning today, as declared by the Electricity Company of Ghana, is going to last for 1 month, and is including the homes, and by homes I mean residential apartments. They will visit each and every home to ensure that they recover their monies from those who owe the power distributor. And don't forget, they are not only going around to disconnect, they are also taking the initiative to check bypass. And by bypass, those who are doing illegal connection or stealing power from the Electricity Company of Ghana, they are taking that initiative to also check their meters to ensure that they are in good health and reading the right current has been consumed by power consumers across the country. So this is a nationwide exercise, and is going to continue and last for the next weeks to come.
Right. So from airport, what's the next location?
They won't disclose the next location to you. You would just be there and the team would appear, because don't forget, an announcement or publicity was carried out prior to this whole exercise starting today. So they won't tell you where they are going next. You would have to just be part of the team, and they would come to your facility or institution, and when you owe, they would engage you briefly. And if you are trying to prove a bit recalcitrant, you don't want to really settle the amount owed, they would proceed to disconnect you from the national grid. And that would mean that you may either rely on your alternative power source, which will be external power, or you would have to be in darkness.
Well, very well. Thank you for that update. That was Citi News' Fred Duho giving us details from the Revenue Mobilization Task Force of the ECG that's going around to, rake in revenues that are owed them. Charles has more stories.
We'll still stay with ECG. The managing director of the company, Samuel Dubik Mahama, has entreated power consumers to settle debts owed the company before the Revenue Mobilization Task Force reaches their premises. Speaking in a yet-to-be-aired interview on the Point of View program with Bernard Avle, the MD indicated that ECG has incurred losses of over 5 billion Ghana cedis, which is contributing to system inefficiencies. In some other news, Citi News' sources indicate that 33 persons have been arrested for vandalizing properties belonging to the Golden Star WhatsApp mine at Benso in the Western region last week. According to management of the company, illegal miners have on several occasions encroached on their concessions but were driven away. The illegal miners are reported to have, amongst other things, set 12 vehicles ablaze, including excavators, ambulances, and pickups, forcing the staff of the company to run for their lives.
Now, the search for bodies of people who drowned in the Lake Volta last Saturday is still ongoing by the Naval and Maritime Authorities. This follows the death of 5 persons on the lake after the boat carrying mourners capsized. According to an eyewitness account, about 100 persons were crossing Azizakwe, an island community, on a 40-seater passenger boat when the incident happened. The 5 dead persons, including 3 children below the ages of 3 and 2 women, all passengers were without life jackets. The presiding member for the Ada East Assembly, Godwin Agude, has been given updates on the search by the Naval and Maritime Authorities.
So yesterday, a team from the Ghana Naval Command in Tema were at the scene. We also have some visitors from the Ghana Maritime Authority who also came in yesterday together with the district and divisional police of our district and the Naval Command, the local Naval Command in Ada. We went to the scene of the accident and they did the assessment and are compiling their report for onward transmission to their bosses back in Accra. We also took the pain to go around the families who had who lost their family members. We went to console with them yesterday and interacted with members of the family. We also took the pain to assure members of the family that the Assembly is taking all necessary steps to make sure that this situation does not occur in the future. After this morning, a few minutes before you just called me, I just had a call from the Naval Command that they went around all the island communities this morning. They woke up very early, went around all the island communities, and fortunately enough, we've not been able to find any additional dead bodies. So the number still remains at 5.
That was the presiding member for the Ada East Assembly, Godwin Agude. Meanwhile, the public relations officer for the Ada District National Disaster Management Organization, Ebenezer Dado, reveals his outfit has put plans in place to provide psychological care for the traumatized family members of the deceased.
As you came the last time, it is still the same. Up to now, we still have the 5 confirmed dead. And the search is still on till tomorrow. The area must be very quiet for days now because the search is still ongoing. And new families are being consoled. We are working out to get a psychologist for them to see them through the trauma. Yesterday, the Navy commander was in, the police district commander was there, the NADMO district director, myself, the PRO, we were there to bring the boat, the boat, the incident boat from Azakwe to the Aizanya Township, and we handed it over to the Navy and the police. So investigation is still ongoing.
Ebenezer Dado is the public relations officer for the Ada District National Disaster Management Organization.
The people of Gonja will be joined by the government to outdoor a new Yagbongra for the Gonja traditional area in Damango tomorrow. This will be after the enskinment of Tuwewura Amone Bafe Boreni as the Yagbongra on Monday at Nyange in the Sola Tuna Kaba district of the Savannah region. Citi News' Savannah regional correspondent Richard Fogo looks at preparations being made for the event.
Tulwawura Amunaba Feborenyi will be enskinned the 34th Yagbongura of Gunja at Nyange in the Sola Tuna Kaba district of the Savannah region. He will replace Tuntumba Boresa, who passed in February this year. The new Yagbongura will then be outdoored on Tuesday, March 21 at the Japa Palace in Damango. The event will see many dignitaries, such as government officials, overlords from other traditional areas, and diplomats in attendance. And the palace is leaving no stone unturned to make these events memorable ones. Portraits of the incoming Yagbonwura are awashed in the Savannah regional capital, as well as other parts of Gunjaland. Dr. Abu Sakara, the chairman of the Enskillment Organizing Committee, tells City News how ready they are for the royal events.
These preparations detailed three main areas. The first is the planning phase, which we have done. The second will be the implementation. And in the implementation, there are two main sites. The traditional ancient site of Yanga, where the actual rituals for the enskillment take place. And then the modern capital of Damango, where the new king, New Yagbonwura, is outdoored. And that is to say that after the rituals, he will be brought to Damango without exposure to the public, and will only be exposed to the public the following day, when there will be joyful jubilation, and will receive greetings of felicitation from his other brothers in Dagong, in Nairi, Navaropio, Asantehene, and all the other major kingdoms that have for ages had a relationship with Gunja.
The Vice President of Ghana, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, will lead the government's delegation to the outdooring on Tuesday. It has also been announced the former president, John Dramani Mahama, who is a royal from Bole, will be in attendance. Dr. Sakara is cautioning Gonjalanders to support and leave a mark on Tuesday. He believes the new Yagbonwura will enhance and introduce what is needed for the good of the people.
As you know, Gonja, as we see it today, was established in 1675 by Ndou Rajapa. So it has been around for so many years. And this system of succession that we have has been around since then. So this will be the 34th Yagbonwura that we'll be installing. So for us, it marks not only a moment of joy, but also a sense of accomplishment, of achievement, that we've sustained the tradition and really pulled together as one people to respect the legacy that was left to us. And it's for this reason that we emphasized during the preparations that the Yagbonwura who stands as a symbol of unity for all of us in our diversity in Savannah region.
That report was put together by Citi News' Savannah regional correspondent Richard Fogo.
Now, Citi FM and Citi TV will treat Ghanaians to delicious food at the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar. The program, which is scheduled for the 25th and 26th of March at the forecourt of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, will showcase indigenous Ghanaian dishes like omutuo, banku, tuozafi, kokonte, and pesie, among others. This food bazaar is part of the activity set for this year's Heritage Month celebration. The initiative will promote the consumption of local dishes and safeguard the rich Ghanaian culture with music and dance. Frema Edunyame is head of events and partnerships at Citi FM and Citi TV.
After the long wait, on Saturday and Sunday, that is 25th and 26th of March, we are having the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar. Now it is going to crown our Heritage Month. And everyone who has been to the Food Bazaar knows that when we say that we are showcasing various indigenous meals for Ghana, it means we are bringing every meal you can think of, as long as it's a Ghanaian meal. And so we are bringing foods from the northern part of the Ghana, the southern part. We are also showcasing various Akan meals. We are also showcasing drinks, indigenous drinks from Ghana, and snacks. Now, apart from just the eating, there's going to be an amazing entertainment session as well. We have Kwampa coming, we have God's Gifts, we have Dromona coming. It's really going to be an exciting period, an exciting food bazaar.
That was Citi FM and Citi TV's head of events and partnership, Frema Edunyame. The Back to Your Village Food Bazaar is sponsored by Voltic Mineral Water, GB Foods, Malta Guinness, ABB, Pan-African Savings and Loans, and Fortune Rice and Mopar. It is powered by Citi FM and Citi TV. Interested vendors of indigenous foods are invited to register. You can call 0205 973 973 for more information. And that's how we end the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios at Adabraka in Accra. For more news, you can log on to our website, citynewsroom.com. I am Wilma Obuobisa Coleman, and this afternoon I was here with
Charles Owusu Kumi.
Many thanks for doing the listening. Up next is the afternoon's edition of the Citi Business News with Michael Obudu. Have a good afternoon.
Citi 97.